Brakes are the most important controls on the bike, so making sure you get them set up before you ride the bike is essential. So this is our guide to tailoring your brake setup. Number one, let's look at the lever position actually on the handlebar first. If you've got a modern bike with disc brakes, you should definitely try and learn to ride with one finger on the brake if you're not doing it already. So I actually recommend setting your brake lever up so it's moved right in on the handlebar, so you can't actually fit more than one finger on there. So a lot of people do use two fingers, but actually slide it in a little bit further. You just get much more grip on the handlebars if you've got these three fingers and your thumb wrapped around. So slide it in, there you go. My one finger rests right on the very end, so I'll just tighten that up slightly for now. So now that I've got my one brake lever set up, I'm going to try and match the other one. It depends how accurate you want to get, but you could use a caliper like this just to measure the gap between the edge of the grip and the brake lever, or you could just do it by sight, but let's try and get it perfect. Just going to tighten that brake lever down. I'm not going to worry about the angle of them just for now. I'm just going to get the position on the bar set up, because what I'll do is do my brake levers, and then I'll do my dropper post, and then I'll do my shifters. That's sort of the order of importance for me, the ones that I need to use the best. And you can't always get them in the perfect position. Luckily on this bike I've got this nice SRAM matchmaker thing, so my shifter is mounted onto the brake lever and I don't have to worry about too many clamps on the bars. So now for brake lever angle on the bar, I need to make sure they're in a usable angle. Most of the time when you're braking, you're actually over the back of the bike, so that's when you need that brake lever to be reachable. See, quite a few people have them quite dropped, quite low on the bars. That actually means that you can't get to them so easily, and actually you have to bring your wrist over the top and put a little bit more weight on the handlebars. So I like to run mine relatively high. Too high and it can actually put a bit of sort of weight through your wrist and a bit of pain there. So try and mess around with that a little bit, but that feels about right to me. So now to match the angle, what I do is sit back on the bike and I go back until I can just about see the top of the brake lever over the top of the handlebars, and then I match the other lever to the same angle. So it needs to go down a touch. So there's a couple more adjustments you can make to your brakes that really make them that much more usable. And the first one is reach. Almost every single brake lever has this option. This SRAM guide has this really easy sort of hand dial here. Sometimes you might find a small 2mm Allen key to mess around with. And just play around with that reach. If you've got smaller hands, it's really helpful, so you can just wind that brake lever all the way in, so you don't have to really stretch for it. If you've got bigger hands, wind it further out. Personally, I like them fairly close to the bar. You need to make sure that you don't squash your other fingers. If you have the reach too far in, you can do, but that shouldn't happen if your one finger is right at the very end, like I've explained already. Again, to match the two levers, you can use a caliper or an Allen key or something to rest it against your grip. Get it the same both sides. So finally, some brake levers have this contact point adjustment or bite point adjustment. You can see on this SRAM one, it's just here, and that's on the maximum. So the brake lever is actually traveling a long way, and this just adjusts how far that moves before you hit that bite point. So personally, I like to wind them all the way in so the brake lever doesn't move quite so much. It maybe gives you a little bit less modulation because the lever just doesn't travel, it's either on or off. But I'd rather that, and then I'll sort of use my brain to modulate the brake rather than rely on the sort of mechanical side of things. That's also really important if you have your reach quite far in. If you have that out, then the lever can travel so far that it touches the handlebar. So make sure you play around with that, and there you go. My reach is set, my contact point's set. But if you don't have one of these on the handlebars, there is actually another option to sort of do it at the caliper, which I'll show you next. So if you don't have one of these contact point adjusters on the brake, many brakes don't, you can actually do this manually. You just want to be careful when you're doing it. So take out the wheel so that the disc isn't resting in between the brake pads. What you want to do is actually just pull the brake lever once, gently, and that's actually going to push the pistons in a little bit. Stick your wheel back in, have a feel for it, and that should have tightened everything up. So if, like me, you like that bite point to be pretty immediate, that can work. Just don't pull it any more than once. You can actually pop the pistons out of the caliper, and that means you're gonna have to get them back in. It's gonna be oily, and you're gonna have to re-bleed your brake. This might take a couple of goes to get that desired feel on the brake lever. So just push the pistons back into the caliper using a plastic tie lever or something like that. And also make sure that they're centered and that one piston isn't pushing out and the other one's staying in there. So play around with that a little bit. Keep trying, keep putting your disc back in until you get the feel that you want on that brake lever. So there you go, brake levers are all set up and they feel exactly how I like them to feel. It's really important for me. There's a few things you need to do to keep on top of your brake lever maintenance as well. So if you click up there, that'll take you through to how to shorten your hoses, and click down there for how to bleed your disc brakes. Click on the GmbH logo, it's totally free. Give us a thumbs up if you found this video useful.